is the Victory Moment with CK. Join the show as we chat victory in the midst of the uncertainty in life, because each day can be a victory moment if you don't quit, if you don't give up, and if you don't let go. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Victory Moment with CK. I am so excited to be here this afternoon, the day after Mother's Day, the celebration, and all of that good stuff. I hope you've had a fantastic Mother's Day, and we continue to celebrate you, mothers, as this month is not over. We are still continuing to celebrate you ladies and thanking you ladies for all that you do. It doesn't matter what, how we go through what we go through. Welcome. I see my guests and those that are popping in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen, today's show, before we go any further, today's show is about love you also, and we are going to get into it, and you're going to understand what the show is about once we start sharing in the show. But it's all about loving you also. Well, welcome again, and we thank you for joining and connecting with the BHC network. Thank you for connecting with um with my show and all that it's about to bring, the new level. I'm excited. October, we're going to be live in October, live in person in Jersey. More details will come. We're looking forward to those that can join us, and all of that good stuff. But more details will come. But let's talk about this, and then I'll talk more about the other part in the end. Loving you also. Loving you also. That means that you don't stop loving other people. But if you don't love yourself, it's a little more difficult to understand how to really connect and love others. So it's all about, how do I connect with myself first? And one of the things I want to talk about, and then I'm gonna share some thoughts, is when the pandemic really hit us strongly, and we had to wind up being in the home. Most of us, a lot of us, was in the home by ourselves. And it was like, oh my God, what do I do? Because we had to adjust to loving, um seeing ourselves even more, because we could not do the things we normally would do to get away and all of those things. And one of the things when it comes to loving you is all that you are. You have to love all that you are, with your mistakes, with your imperfections, as they would say, things that you don't always get right, things that just don't always, we don't always seem to do it right. But the bottom line is, you have to love you for all that you are. And that comes first. And that's why I said loving you also. Because it's okay to love others and care about others. But if you do not care about yourself, it makes it a little more difficult to others. And it affects your movements. But one of the things, and I'm talking about this too, because this is considered Mental Health Awareness Month. And part of our mental health is caring about you, caring about your health, caring about you spiritually, caring about you mentally, caring about, who you are, and then caring about others. But I realized something in the midst of everything. If you can't care about you, you're going to have a hard time understanding how to care about others. It begins with you. And you have to understand all that you have been, the mistakes, the ups, the downs, the things that we just didn't do right. And in order to keep going and doing all of and keep going, you got to love you also. You've got to love who you all that you are. That means whether you're tall, medium, short, light skin, dark skin, you've got to love all of who you are. And then most importantly, you have to love where you've been or who or all that you have been, because that helps to push you to where you're going. And this is my one of my final thoughts as I communicate, and all that you will be. So you've got to love all that you are. You've got to love all that you have been, and you've got to love all that will be becoming. And this has been really strong in my heart, becoming, because you can't you if you don't accept certain things, you can't move forward. So that means not being stuck where you are, but accepting where you are so that you can move forward. And then saying, how can I move forward in this situation, in this circumstance, and free yourself? And one of the things, I love how God does it, and God says it to us. He said, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. That means that, and I shared I shared something earlier, as I'm on social media, and I shared, you are enough. Don't let anybody tell you who you are. Love you also. Love all that you are. Love all that you have been. And love all that you will be. Because say, hey, I started here. I'm here. But there is what I said, there is some great things ahead. And we say this in church. What has been one of the bishops that I connect with and know, he says it, and then I kind of adapted it from one of my sis. It says, I see myself in the future and I look a whole lot better. And that's what you got to do. You got to see yourself in the future and know that you look a whole lot better. Don't expect certain things. in the sense of it being done the way you want it to be done, but know that you have to understand that, listen, I'm not going to give up, I'm not going to give in, and I'm not going to quit. Because what are you? We are winners. We are winners. We are winners. And I love motivating people to win. Because if you don't have the mindset of a winner, a mindset of loving yourself, there's a song. I'm basically loving myself, loving myself. And you have to have that mindset. It has nothing to do with being selfish or not wanting to acknowledge other people. But what we tend to do is love others more than ourselves. And I definitely understand that concept. Because if you have a caring heart, that's what we do. But we have to be more, as we would say, mental health aware. That we have to mentally care about ourselves, care about our health, care about, the things that matter to us. And I always make this joke because I never forget coming to America when when the young lady and the prince kept asking her, well, what do you like? And she kept saying, what you like. And I'm like, wow. He said it again. He said, well, what do you like? And all she kept saying was, whatever you like. And it gave him a hard time to understand who she was. And these are the things we have to be aware of. So I'm excited for your next. I'm excited for all that's about to transpire for you. I'm excited because we have to acknowledge, and I always have to put God in all that I do, God in all our ways, and He will direct our pathway because God is love, and that's why he overwhelms us when it comes to love, because he looks beyond our faults. He looks beyond our faults and he sees our needs. So I thank you again for joining this episode of, this episode of the Victory Moment with CK, because the victory moment is all about loving yourself too. Notice what I said, because I don't want anybody to misinterpret loving others and not loving and loving yourself. It's a balance. And you've got to love you and care about you, because you will never know. A lot want to get into relationships but you don't care about yourself. And I'm ending right now. But the bottom line is, you've got to love you for all that you are. You've got to love you all that you have been. Because even in your mistakes, that doesn't take away your awesomeness. But what you should be doing is learning from your mistakes. What you should be doing is knowing how to care about you so that you could care about somebody else. If you are empty, you cannot do anything from an empty glass. So I'm excited again. And finally, all that you're going to be. Remember, this is not the end, but there's more to come. And you have to focus on keep going and getting and becoming. And I tell you, if you haven't read that book, it's major. So thank you again for joining me. I see my special people, that continue to join and connect with the show. Thank you. And listen, love and blessings again to you, amazing women. As we are not finished celebrating, hopefully I'll have a special guest by the end of the month that wants to come and talk to you. 3 generations. And we want to share some things with you as I encourage, as I motivate, as I say, let's keep winning, because we are more than conquerors. We are victorious because we don't give up, we don't give in, and we don't quit. So thank you again as we remember to love you also, and keep standing up, keep standing out, and keep standing strong. All things are possible if you believe. And with God as your pilot, He's not a co-pilot, He's a pilot. Let Him direct your path. Let Him keep you in perfect peace, even when things seem to go topsy-turvy. So have a great see you on the I should say see you on the next episode of the Victory Moment with CK.